Thank you, ma'am. Let us begin the webinar with the brief introduction of our resource person, Dr. Shalini Yadava. Dr. Shalini Yadava, working as Associate Professor at University School of Education, GGSIPU. She has been awarded with the Gold Medal at MEd program of Central Institute of Education, University of Delhi. She was also awarded with the JRF by UGC. Now, I request Dr. Shalini Yadava, Associate Professor, GGSIPU, to enlighten us.
Thank you so much, Abhilasha. Thank you so much. Beta, what is your name? The one who just introduced me?
Ma'am Anjali Kumari.
Okay, thank you so much, Anjali. Hello, Bharti. And I can see Kriti, and I can see Karthikeyan, and I was also seeing Jui, I think. Okay. A very hearty good morning. And I can see also a lot of students in the classroom. So I hope you can all hear me clearly. I'm audible?
Yes, ma'am.
You all can hear me? Okay, fantastic.
Yes,
Okay, now I begin with my deliberation on National Institute Initiative for Proficiency in Reading, Understanding and Numeracy. Well, to be very frank, the very fact that you can understand me is because, you have understanding, as well as, you are not only understanding, but you can also read. The very fact that you have things on the screen, unless you had reading proficiency, it wouldn't have been, a very happy situation for each one of us. And I don't think we could have actually streamed the event on StreamYard. So this is reading proficiency, or I would say reading comprehension and numeracy. We know that these are the basics for any individual to take steps further with reference to enlightening yourself in any domain of knowledge, right? So therefore, the NEP 2020, it has given the highest priority to foundation literacy and numeracy, right? And we intend to achieve it by the year 2025. So we don't have much time. We already are in 2023, right? And the policy says the rest of the policy doesn't become much relevant unless we achieve, and that's true, foundation literacy and numeracy. So when you say, when you talk about basic learning requirement, we know that it is about reading, it is about writing, and it's about arithmetic at the foundational level. So for this, the National Mission for Foundation Literacy and Numeracy, right, it has actually already been set up by the Ministry of Education on priority, and they have set targets, right? I will basically orient you towards NIPUN, and I will leave it to Bharti ma'am to deliberate upon the study, which NCERT has conceived, because I think she'll be the right person. With reference to setting the benchmarks and looking at all those inputs. So I'll be basically orienting you with reference to what exactly is NIPUN all about, and what is the plan with reference to the responsibilities of different stakeholders, and how do we plan to go about it. That is the plan. Now, when you talk of any mission, right, any mission which is, launched by the government, please understand that the mission depends upon a number of things. This mission is subsumed or included under the Samagra Shiksha Abhiyan. And another thing which is very, very important for us to know is that every mission has certain tiers on which it will be implemented, right? So this mission has 5 tiers. When I say 5 tiers, I mean we have the national level, we have the state level, we have the district level, we have the block level, and we have the cluster level, right? So that means we are saying that all the implementation will take place at the level of these 5 tiers. So it's a 5-tier implementation under the National Mission for Foundational Literacy and Numeracy. Okay. Now, at the national level, as you know, at the national level, we have, in the ministry, you have the Secretary of School Literacy and School Education and Literacy, right? And under that, you have different functionaries. You have the joint secretaries, you have the under secretaries in the ministries. You have, and not only one ministry with reference to Ministry of Education, you will also have a number of ministries working together, like Ministry of Women and Child Development, Ministry of Health and Child Welfare, right? And of course, the nodal agencies in the field of education at the national level, like the NCERT, like the NIPA, right? and these will be joined by experts, right? Because when you're talking of reading, when you're talking of numeracy, it's extremely important that we take care of. One, we have to think about how teacher, how do they best learn, right? What are the different learning styles? How are we going to allocate our resources, right? So we will need people from different fields. For example, if you ask me, the policy or the mission also elucidates that you can have experts from neuroscience, you can have experts from child psychology, pedagogy, so and so. Now, why do you need an expert from neuroscience can be a question. You need a new expert from neuroscience because neuroscience basically is a part of a very important field these days with reference to brain based research, which is basically taking care of looking at how, what is the environment in which you learn best. That means, initially, remember, each one of us was told, don't listen to music while you are studying, and so on and so forth. But now it has been shown, that symphonies which are very melodious, like Mozart sonata 63, 64, they have a very positive effect on learning. Similarly, playing chess has a very positive effect on your logico-spatial reasoning. So those inputs with reference to how do we learn best and which areas of the brain are energized with reference to different environments, neuroscience can be helpful in that. Similarly, child psychology, as you're all aware, when you're talking of reading, and I'm not talking of reading alone, we're talking of reading comprehension. Not only do you read, you understand what you read, right? You may be just reading, but you may not be understanding the text. But this mission is about reading comprehension, in the sense you are also understanding what you are reading, which is very, very important, right? So there comes the role of child psychology, where you will take care of the individual differences. Each child learns differently. Some may have a very verbal style of learning. That means the speech and the auditory style, auditory, wherein you hear and you learn. Some of you just hear a lecture and you can actually comprehend everything, right? Some of you need to see something, you need a visual, right? A visual is something which is very powerful for you. So if you're shown a visual, it can be a video, it can be a film, so on and so forth, you learn better. So depending upon what is your learning style, that also has to be taken care of, so that you cater to different individual differences. And how do you motivate children to learn? Very, very important. I mean, it's easier said than done these days, especially if you see, we are talking up till class 3, of course, but if you see higher education, I mean, we are all grappling. I'm sure AI must also be grappling to know how do you motivate students such that they retain in the system, such that their attendance is not an issue. You should not be saying that well, if you don't have this much percentage, you'll be detained. But that's what we are all grappling in higher education. Similarly, with reference to school education, what makes the learning environment so joyful, right? That the student is retained. बच्चे को मजा आए पढ़ने में, ऐसा पढ़ाएं कि आप मजा आए, आपको ना बोलना पड़े कि आपको आना है क्योंकि आपको मिड डे मील मिल रहा है, आपको आना है क्योंकि आपको फ्री बैग मिलेंगे. Whatever be the case, it's important that they learn because they are enjoying, right? So all those inputs will come from child psychology. And of course, which teaching method, which strategies do I use such that they learn the best? Yeah, so that will be the input which is coming from pedagogy. Because when you're talking of a teacher, it's extremely important that we know that it has to be pedagogical content knowledge. You cannot leave one. Pedagogical content knowledge, that means knowledge of what you're teaching and knowledge of the pedagogy which you should employ for teaching. Both are equally important. If you know the content but you cannot communicate, you don't have the language, you don't have the intonation, you don't know how to basically engage your students, manage your classroom, then it will all fall flat, right? So those are the inputs from pedagogy which are very, very, very important, right? So at the national level, you will have the secretary, right, who will be responsible who is the secretary? Department of School Education and Literacy. You know that the ministry has a department of school literacy and school education and literacy. So this secretary will be responsible at this stage with experts from different fields, right? Like NCERT, like NIPA from the ministries which I just said, Women and Child Development, Ministry of Education, and as well as Health and Family Welfare, right? Even people from public relations, that's what the mission says. Now, at the state level, when you talk of the state level, At the state level, you again have secretary education. Now I'm not saying secretary department of school education. See, you have a secretary education. Every state has a secretary education, right? Secretary education. Then apart from secretary education, you will also have directors from all these ministries which I just named. And here the nodal agency at the state level will be SCERT, right? At the national level, you had nodal agencies which were involved in the mission, which were the NCERT as well as the NIPA. Here you have NCERT, and you will have nominated experts from various fields, which we just discussed, be it neuroscience, be it psychology, be it pedagogy, be it languages, be it mathematics, right? Because we are talking of reading comprehension and we are talking of numeracy. So we will also need experts from there who give us inputs how best to teach language, right? What do we use such that reading comprehension improves, right? Which are the strategies? Which are the drama techniques, right? How do we use those techniques in the classroom up till class 3 such that they actually attain the level of proficiency which has been earmarked for this stage? Then, of course, we come down to the district level. At the district level, in India, when you look at all the states, in India, at the district level, you have the Zilla Parishads. Either you have the district boards or you have the Zilla Parishad. So you will have either the DM, the district magistrate, or you can have the CEO, okay? Or actually, in India, you don't have the term CEO. You basically have the education officer, right? Either the director or the education officer at this stage, right? For example, even in Delhi, if you see, you have a director education, right? So director education with the team of deputy education officers, with the team of assistant education officers, with the stream of deputy education officers will be taking care of the implementation of foundation literacy and numeracy. And when I say implementation, I'm talking of not only roping in experts. I'm going to go into the modalities later. I'll just tell you the structure and then I'll go into the modalities. So these experts, and we will also have here, that every SCRT has the diets, right, with it. So district institutes of education and training along with nominated experts. This will be the entire group which will be responsible for the implementation it is their responsibilities earmarked with reference to implementation at the state level. Then you have the block level. At the block level, you have the block development officer, right? And you have the cluster resource centers also. So cluster resource centers, as well as at the block, you have the block development officer with his team. These will be responsible. That every cluster, right, has a number of every block has a number of clusters. Similarly, every cluster has a number of schools, and if it's a rural area, you have the rural schools. If it's an urban area, you have the urban schools. Okay, so you have, and then when you come to the at the school or community level, which is the most important tier, right? Please understand, at this tier you have the school management committees. Yeah, at the school management committees, the teachers, the principals, the headmasters, or the parents. Entire community of these people together will be responsible for the implementation of this NIPUN BHARAT mission with reference to foundation literacy, which includes reading with comprehension, I repeat, as well as numeracy, right? Because अगर आपको पढ़ के समझ भी नहीं आ रहा बच्चे को, और ये असर report year after report, that there is an NGO Pratham, which basically takes care of the annual status of education report every year. And every year you see there are many states, right? Many states which are lagging with reference to children not even achieving basic levels of reading. Comprehension भूल जाइए अभी, मैं समझने की बात तो कर ही नहीं रही, वो पढ़ भी नहीं पा रहे, समझने की बात तो दूर की है, right? So that's the state of affair with reference to various. ये भी if you see the ASER report, it's seen that a child is reaching class 5 without being able to read a single sentence. That's how it is in many states, right? Therefore, the NEP 2020 has taken upon it as a very important recommendation that we have to take care of foundation literacy and numeracy. There are many people who say, oh my God, the policy is just focusing on foundation. No, it is not a question of focusing on foundational literacy and numeracy. The point is, without foundational literacy and numeracy, you cannot move forward. So that is a stage, which basic stage, which has to be taken care of, right? So that's what the mission, Nipun Bharat mission, has been launched for. Okay. Now, when you talk of how are they going to take care of it, please understand that the national committee, right? The national committee which will be responsible for actually taking care of, where you have the chairperson or the secretary of Department of School Education and Literacy, they would be responsible for providing policy direction, right? That means whatever policy is made at the ministry level, I'm talking of the Ministry of Education, whatever policy is made with reference to the implementation of the Nipun Bharat mission at the national level, right? In the Ministry of Education, chaired by the Secretary of School Education and Literacy, right? That will provide a direction at the national level, right? And it will also facilitate the implementation of the action plans which are made at the national level. So that means at the National Steering Committee, which is national level pe aapki National Steering Committee, NSC, is the unit. This unit, which will have experts from NCERT, experts from NIPA, experts from the different universities, also with reference to languages and mathematics and pedagogy and child psychology and neuroscience. All these people will be responsible for making a policy with reference to implementation, that how do we go about it with reference to achieving foundational literacy and numeracy, right? Then, of course, in the next tier, it's very, very important for us to know, the next tier will be the one which will be, once a plan is implemented, please understand, just in the sense you make a implementation plan. Once a implementation is planned, or a implementation plan is made, it is also very important that it is reviewed, right? It is reviewed and it is approved. And when I say reviewed and approved, a very important component of review and approval is the budgetary allocation, right? What will be the budget for implementing this national mission, right? Nipun Bharat mission. What will be the budgetary allocation? How much do we need? And how are we going to spend it, right? So review and approve of the implementation plan, which also includes the budgetary allocation, right? And it's also very, very important that we also here decide upon who is going to monitor, right? Who will be the agency who will be responsible for monitoring? I'm sure Bharti ma'am is going to tell you with reference to how NCERT has done a full study with reference to so many languages, where they've looked at the baseline with reference to the different languages, with reference to reading comprehension, so on and so forth. It's a very big study in a very short time which NCERT has conducted. I'm sure ma'am is going to throw light for you on that. Coming to the next, it's also very important that all the activities which are planned, right? It's also important that you also take care of what is the technical and academic support, right? Technical and academic support which is needed for the implementation of the plans which are decided for implementation of the Nipun Bharat mission. Now, this technical and academic support, right, will be provided by the National Council of Educational Research and Training, which we call NCERT, right? And the director NCERT will be responsible for providing this technical and academic support along with the team of NCERT, and also provide direction to all the states and union territories in India with reference to the academic support in the implementation of the mission. When you say academic support with reference to implementation of the mission, see, it can be academic support which is seen in the way of experts, which guide them with reference to the different strategies which they may use. It may be academic support with reference to basically taking care of the bottlenecks in the implementation. It may be academic support with reference to achieving those benchmarks which have been earmarked with reference to foundational literacy as well as numeracy. So all this technical and academic support will be provided by the NCERT. Now, the next nodal agency is the NIPA, right? In case of NIPA, you have the head as the vice chancellor there, right? And here also they would provide the, please understand, when I talked about NCERT, we talked about giving academic and technical support, right, to the states and UTs, right? hand-holding with the states and UTs. In case of NIPA, it is providing technical, administrative, and professional. There is a difference. That means NIPA is taking care of capacity building. When you say professional support, it also means of capacity building, because this mission will also require training of master trainers, right? जब तक आप एक पूल ऑफ टीचर्स क्रिएट नहीं करोगे जो फाउंडेशनल लिटरेसी, कैसे रीडिंग कॉम्प्रिहेंशन बेस्ट डेवलप हो सकता है और कैसे न्यूमरेसी आप अच्छी तरह अचीव कर सकते हो, जब तक those master trainers have to be there. So that capacity building will be the role of NIPA, right? Capacity building with reference to training of the master trainers in foundational literacy as well as numeracy will be taken care of by NIPA at the district level and at the institutional levels, right? Then we come to a very important nodal agency, which is the CBSE, Central Board of Secondary Education, right? Here we have the head as the chairperson, right, or the chairman of the CBSE. They will be responsible for implementing the NIPUN Bharat mission in all CBSE schools. Similarly, the Commissioner Kendriya Vidyalaya Sangathan will be responsible for implementing it in all KVS schools, right? And again, the Director NCERT, right, will be taking care of all academic matters in the implementation of NIPUN Bharat mission. So it's a huge responsibility of different stakeholders who will come together with reference to the implementation of the NIPUN Bharat mission. Now, when you talk of implementation, the first and foremost is, if you see, the project approval board is going to review and approve annual plans, right, of Samagra Shiksha. And what is the sanctioned budget for the implementation of this mission, that is the NIPUN Bharat mission? After this is done, now this is also a huge task, you know, once you make the annual plans with reference to any mission, right, along with the budgetary allocations, and then these plans are discussed and approved, right? हर स्टेट की प्लान आप सोचो कितना मेहनत काम है. It's a big work, right? Every states, and you know the diversity in India, right? You know the diversity with reference to languages. You know the dearth of teachers with reference to actually, you know, being able to transact such that children understand, right? So all looking at all these dynamics, it's a very big task. Discuss and approve all these plans with the states and union territories. And once it is done, you provide clarifications and instructions regarding NIPUN Bharat mission's norms and implementation procedures, right? For example, if any project or any mission is implemented, please understand that it's very, very important. You cannot just do whatever you want to do, right? You will have to have the entire thing keeping in mind what are the norms, and according to those norms, you move ahead with reference to implementation. Again, when the discussions with reference to implementation is taking place, you also recommend, you know, during the course, like, you know, you remember diagnostic evaluation. During the course, if you have, you know, certain problems, you can recommend, you know, modifications, right? All these tiers can recommend modifications, and accordingly, the program norms can be tweaked. Tweaked means modified with reference to implementation. So this is also very important, and this can be done in the half-yearly meetings, which the review of implementation of the mission will take place, right? We have implemented the plan. Now, after 6 months, these are the bottlenecks which I'm facing. So these are the challenges which I'm facing, right? So what are the challenges? Some dogs outside, I'm very sorry. You can hear the dogs outside. Thank God, small mercies. Okay, so the review meetings after every 6 months will take place, which take place with reference to all the education secretaries of each state, right, and the union territories, taking stock of what are the problems with the implementation and the mission, and they can give their recommendations with reference to the ground realities. So you can also imagine that how, you know, all these tiers have to be totally connected with each other, right? And this is a classic example of decentralized planning. Unless all these tiers are connected, right, the base where that is the schools where it is being implemented, to the top level, that which is the policy planning, right? I don't think we can be successful. So again, it is very, very important to have constant appraisal, evaluation, of course, financing and supervision at the national, state, district, blocks, and cluster levels with reference to the planned interventions. All these planned interventions with reference to reading comprehension, or with reference to, I remember a very successful program which Pratham started with reference to reading, and it was a school radio program, and they had programs where all students used to sit together and listen to those radio programs. Please understand, when you talk of reading, yeah, it's the first skill which all of us develop is you listen, right? So listening, and then reading, and then even when you're reading, please understand, even when you are reading, right, you are listening as well, right? So it's extremely important that the process of vocabulary development, the process of enrichment with reference to understanding, takes place simultaneously. So chalking out the roadmap with reference to how we are going to go about it. This plan with reference, what I'm discussing with you today, it came out in around 18th May 2023, where the ministry came out with this entire document with reference to who will be the different stakeholders, and what will be the roles and responsibilities of these different stakeholders in the NIPUN Bharat mission. Then it's also important that regular organization of the national steering committee meetings. Unless you have regular meetings to monitor a program, to know the bottlenecks, I don't think you can actually track progress, right? So it's very, very important. And these meetings have to be held not only by the National Steering Committee with the national stakeholders, these meetings also have to be there with the states, right? So all of us, whether it's the states, whether it's the national level experts, have to create mechanisms so that we are in sync and we can actually monitor the progress of the NIPUN Bharat mission. And these are, these are the times of grading, right? Whether it is NIRF, whether it is NAC, right? It's the time when you're, whether it's the global rankings. Similarly, in this also, there is a mechanism for grading the performance of states, right? We are going to grade the performance of states and union territories with reference to what is their progress in the NIPUN Bharat mission, right? How far have they been, and to create a, I would say, a competitive environment, as well as, track the progress through it, right? So grading of the states, because unless you monitor the performance, this also fuels you to perform better, right? So that will be there. And then, of course, you have the monitoring mechanism to ensure that there is independent, transparent, and reliable assessment. It is very, very important, right? See, for example, if the same person who's basically teaching reading comprehension and numeracy is evaluating, well, it cannot be, even if the person wants to be, you cannot be 100% objective in that evaluation. So it has to be done independent of the person who's actually the master trainer, as well as the teacher who's basically implementing the foundational literacy and numeracy in the classes. So therefore and transparent in the sense that you don't have to hide anything. What are the parameters of evaluation? What are the benchmarks which you have achieved? So on and so forth. That those parameters need to be absolutely transparent so that people know what are they being evaluated on. And of course, reliable, that consistency over a period of time with reference to the monitoring of quality. Now, this mission also talks of creating a very robust, IT-based solutions to generate resources. Now, when you say that we are going to handhold the states and your union territories, reaching I think that's what technology will be able to come to our rescue. Training master trainers all across the country, right? It's not a small task, right? And you cannot ask, in India, you still have a dearth of teachers who are there in the schools. You still have single teacher schools. So you can't say that, all these teachers are going to come out of the schools and we are going to train them how best we achieve, reading comprehension in numeracy. That's impossible. So there, of course, creating a cadre of master trainers. And second, very, very importantly, here comes the use of technology. Yeah. See, the very fact that you are around 75 kilometers away from me. Yeah. But I am able to reach you through this technology, right? We both are able to interact through the use of technology. Similarly, through the use of technology, we can reach the different teachers, tell them about the different strategies which they can use with reference to enriching their students' reading comprehension and numeracy. So we in this stage cannot be away from any ICT. So ICT enabled, ICT assisted education is something which has already seen the light of the day and it's there to stay. So it's important to embrace it, right? Then it's also important that a common platform for strategic consultation with all stakeholders, right? When I say all stakeholders, it also includes them, like we have big players like Pratham, we have players like Prayas, right? So many NGOs are working in the field of education. Yeah. So we need to bring them also. Why? Because they are also running learning centers. Please understand, there are students, right? They were learning, they had learning centers in the Sarv Shiksha Abhiyan. Sarv Shiksha Abhiyan was subsumed in the Samagra Shiksha Abhiyan. So they are also, running learning centers. So it's also very, very important that you have strategic consultation with all the stakeholders, be it in the ministries, be it in the states, be it in the nodal agencies like the NCERT and the SCERT, right? And uh, of course, with reference to the NGOs. So all the experts coming together, stakeholder consultation, and also from every state, you, for example, you in CBSE schools, you have Sahoday clusters, right? You have Sahoday clusters which are working together. So from each cluster, when they're implementing the plan with reference to foundation literacy and numeracy, from each cluster, if you can, or each state, you can have 5, depending on the size of the state, 5 to 7 people who can give you, if you can't bring them all on one platform offline, at least you can do that online. Hear them out. What are the problems which they're facing with reference to the implementation of the mission, right? Is the budget with allocation with reference to funding enough for them, so on and so forth, and where exactly are they facing the problem, right? I think this is something which is has been loose end. We are somewhere we are poor in listening to problems. We expect people to solve their own problems, right? We give the burden of and the entire problem solving to the other end. So no, but it's very important that it is consultative and you take everybody on board, right? If you listen to concerns of people, half the time, if you listen to people, they feel better, and and you just provide a cue and they can solve their problems, but provided you listen. So this has to be very, very important, that consultative strategic consultation is there, and you have all the stakeholders, right, which you include, such that it's taken care of, right? Another very, very important point is with reference to the entire mission, is that for facilitation of smooth implementation of the mission, right? You will have to create platforms, you will have to use social media, you will have to use websites, not only for monitoring but also for engaging the different stakeholders, right? You will have to organize, and I'm talking of seminars and conferences and workshops. This is very important, which actually benefit the beneficiaries. For that, you need to conduct all the National Steering Committee will have to conduct a need assessment survey. How much they know, how much you need to give, so that you don't repeat what they already know, and you provide inputs with reference to, uh, you know, um, taking them much ahead with reference to what their baseline knowledge with reference to whether it's reading comprehension or whether it's numeracy. So conferences and workshops which enable the teacher on the ground to be equipped with those strategies, with those skills, right? And a very important thing, you will have to also have a mechanism through IT enabled places where a platform is there. Share best practices. It's very, very important. If there is a best practices in a state of Karnataka, we can share it with Kashmir. If it's a best practice in Kashmir, we can share it with, Haryana, so on and so forth. Share it with each other. So again, we are also lagging with reference to documenting best practices and sharing, right? So it's also very, very important that best practices with reference to, acquainting students in the area of reading comprehension numeracy are documented, right? And then they are shared with all the stakeholders so that we learn from each other's experiences, right? And it's also important that at the community level, जब तक आपका बच्चा स्कूल में रिटेन नहीं रहेगा, राइट? रीडिंग कॉम्प्रिहेंशन और न्यूमरेसी की बात तो जब होगी जब आपके सारे बच्चे स्कूल में रिटेन रहे, राइट? वो सीखने के लिए तैयार हों और वो सीखने के लिए इच्छुक हों और उनको सीखने में मजा आए. इट्स वेरी, वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट, राइट? बच्चा स्कूल आ गया लेकिन उसको बिल्कुल मजा नहीं आ रहा, उसको कुछ समझ नहीं आ रहा, तो नेचुरली, so that kind of environment is to be created. And I'll also say it's very, very important that you also understand the teachers. I saw it in the entire COVID-19 pandemic. The entire discourse was focused on the students, right? Which is important. They are a very important stakeholder, right? But there was no discourse with reference to the problems which the teachers are facing with reference to online teaching, which the crisis which the teachers are managing with reference to, balancing their personal and professional lives. So please hear the teachers as well. Look at the problems of the teachers as well, with reference to designing, with reference to IT-enabled solutions, with reference to implementation. They are the most important arms with reference to implementation, right? And of course, I'm very sure Bharti will also discuss with reference to how you take care of the entire realm of inclusion in the NIPUN Bharat mission, because there are also children who are visually challenged, right? And with reference to making all those resources available, and NCERT and CIET, especially under the leadership of Dr. Bharti, is doing an exceptionally good work. I will not even call it very good. It is exceptionally good work, where they are, bringing such a lot of audio books and, braille books. I mean, this is the kind of things which we are looking forward to with reference to creating a situation which is inclusive for all, right? So with these words, I have given you a frame with reference to how the government, plans to put into action the entire NIPUN Bharat mission, right? And provide for foundational literacy, how they are going to make the entire curriculum. Then they have to monitor your objectives with your outcomes. So determining the learning outcomes at every stage, right? And what will be the minimum proficiency level for measuring that learning outcome? For that also you will need an item bank, right? And of course, the baseline survey with reference to languages has already been completed by NCERT, right? And it is all. It's also, they are going to develop a 3-month play-based school preparation module under the Vidya Pravesh program. So all this e-content will be uploaded on Diksha, right, for foundation literacy and numeracy. So you can just imagine the kind of mammoth task which it is going to be. And therefore, I think it's very, very important that capacity building of teachers at the foundational stage, right? Both, I'm talking of the offline mode as well as the blended mode, is taken care of, because the most important stakeholder here is the teacher who will implement it on the ground, right? Because again, I totally agree that without this stage, without taking care of foundational literacy and numeracy, you cannot move forward, right? And it will be the NCERT which will be developing the entire matrix for learning outcomes for the primary level. So they have a very pivotal role. And I'm very sure Bharti is going to elucidate with reference to the entire role which NCERT has and how it's going to take care. And again, capacity building, how NIPA will be roped in, right? So it's all work in progress. And let's see that the implementation starts on ground zero very soon. With these words, thank you very much. I hope I've given you the introduction of the NIPUN Bharat mission.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. And our
If
next
you have
guest
any
is
questions, you can ask. And just if there are any questions, AIE classroom, if there are any questions, I'm open to them.
if there is any question, kindly ask.
Okay, you can move forward. Thanks.
Thank you, ma'am. And our next guest is Dr. Bharti Kaushik, Associate Professor. Dr. Bharti Kaushik is PhD in Education and MSc Physics from University of Delhi. She is Associate Professor in the Central Institute of Educational Technology, CIET, NCERT, Delhi. Currently, she is working on preparing mathematics textbooks in audio format, preparing textbook in Indian Sign Language, preparing online training program, inclusive pedagogy, practices for science classroom and laboratories for science teachers. Now, I would like to request Dr. Bharti Kaushik to enhance our knowledge with her valuable insight. The platform is all yours, ma'am.
Thank you so much. And thank you for the nice introduction. And thank you, Shalini. I hope you are still there.
Yeah, I'm very much there, Bharti.
And I could hear my name on and off throughout your lecture. So you have raised the expectations a lot. Let me try to fulfill.
No, I
But it
know
was
the
a,
expectations will be fulfilled. Don't worry at all.
but I enjoyed every moment of listening to you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I'm
Okay,
sure I'm
so
going to have the same.
thank you. So let's begin with a story. So, who all would like to listen to the stories? I can see your hand raised, if not your smiles. So, the AI classroom, yes, few hands are hesitant whether they want to listen to the story or not. So, you can focus, zoom in the camera, zoom out the camera so that I can see the hands whether they want to really want to see the story or not. No, I can only see. Yes, now I can see the hand raised. Great. Very nice. So let's start with a story. And so for that story, I'll be sharing my screen with all of you. So just give me a second for sharing my screen. Okay. So I'm going to show you the PPT, but I'm not able to see. Okay, let's.
Ma'am, you can share the PPT with us. We can share from our side if you can mail that.
Okay, okay. Let me do that. Let me do that, or let me just start reading the story. That would be great. So by that, I will also be able to assess how many of us are listening carefully. So the title of the story is Animal School. And as all the stories start, this story also starts with once upon a time. So what happens once upon a time, the animals decided they must do something very great to meet the problems of the new world. And what was the new world? This new world was the coming century with its own challenges and issues, the one we have just seen during the COVID pandemic. So, in that jungle, the animals decided they'll be able to do something. They had to do something to meet the problems of the new world. So what did they do? They organized a school. Now in this school, as you all are aware, each school has a curriculum. So they adopted an activity curriculum, and since it's a school in the jungle, so the curriculum consisted of running, climbing, swimming and flying. Now, all set. So far, so good. All the animals who would be coming to the school, they had to take all the subjects. Why? Because that way the school administration would be easier. It would be easier to monitor the progress, and the functioning of the school would be smoother. So far, so good. Then what happened to the students in this jungle school, animal school? The very first student was the duck. Now, what happened to the duck? Duck was excellent in swimming. So good she was in swimming that even the instructor used to take a lesson or two from the duck. But what happened in flying, duck only received passing marks, and duck was very poor in running. So out of the 4 subjects, duck was good only 2 subjects, and the duck was very poor in running. So what happened to the duck? Since the duck was slow in running, so duck had to stay back after school, and she also had to drop swimming so that she can focus more on the running. She can practice more on the running. Now you'll say that's okay, for this is how the schools work. Yes, this is how the schools work. So, but what happened to this poor duck? His extra classes for running kept on and on and on until the duck's webbed feet were badly torn. And by this time, he was only average in swimming, and he barely made some progress in the running. But average is usually acceptable in our schools. So nobody worried. Nobody worried about duck's feet except the duck's parents and family members. So now this was the story of the duck. Now what happened to the rabbit in this school? Rabbit started at the top of the class in running, but he had a nervous breakdown because of so much makeup work he had to do in swimming. He was not good in swimming. And another child in this class, in this animal school, this little animal was squirrel. Squirrel was very good in climbing, but he developed frustration in flying class, where his teacher insisted he should fly from ground up instead of treetop down. Had it been treetop down, he would have got average marks in flying also. But no, the teacher said, no, nothing doing. You have to listen to me. Whatever I'm saying, you're going to follow the instructions. Then what happened to this poor squirrel? Squirrel had developed a disease called Charlie horse due to overexertion, and then his grades in climbing and running also got affected, and they became poor, very poor. Now, in this class, like every class, there was a problem child. And this problem child was Eagle. Eagle had to be disciplined severely. In the climbing class, Eagle beat all others to the top of the tree. But Eagle, being Eagle, he insisted that he will follow his own ways. He'll not listen to the teacher at all. So Eagle had to be disciplined a lot. At the end of the By the end of the year, a animal who was average in all the 4 areas of the curriculum, he was declared valedictorian for the year. Now, do you think the story has ended? Wait, there is little more to go. There was a group of prairie dogs who stayed out of the school, and they fought the tax levy because administration was not ready to add digging and burrowing to the curriculum. And these are the 2 essential skills which prairie dogs wanted their children to learn. So what did? They decided they'll not pay any taxes, they will fight the administration, jungle administration, and they opened a private school. And they started a successful private school which was meeting all their needs. Now tell me, friends, do you think this story rings a bell somewhere? Though I can't see anyone.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So can you, will you be able to write in chat, or you'll have to come in front of the speaker microphone?
I I will just tell them to put the poster on the chat box, ma'am.
Okay, that would be great.
Yes, ma'am.
So what is the takeaway from this story?
This is showing our real current situation of our education system.
Yes, it is. This is how we have all gone for. We have all went to the school. Maybe
Yes.
a reflection of our own schools, right?
Yes. Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Yes.
Jyoti is saying that no focus on the individual differences. Very true. What else? How we could make the school, this a school better? The students in the classroom. I'm sure you all might be feeling the same thing, no? Is your college classes also feel the same? Yes? No? Yes. Few nodding heads. So what we can do to change the situation? Don't look at each other. I can read the expression on your faces as well. So how can we change the situation? Because changing of the situation depends entirely on you and me.
Yes.
And with programs like NIPUN Bharat, we have to make the start right from the foundational level. And what is the foundational level? The foundational level is when we start teaching children the literacy and the numeracy foundations, the basics. When we start teaching children, or when we start bringing attention of the children to the straight lines, to the standing lines, to the slanting lines, to the sleeping lines, and under the Nipun Bharat, we are also making them aware of their own health hygiene goals. As Shalini ma'am has briefed you very nicely about Nipun Bharat's goals, essentials, procedures, the agencies involved, the stakeholders involved, and their roles and responsibilities. I would like to take you to the Diksha platform. We have on Diksha platform a dedicated portal on Nipun Bharat. So let me see if we are able to see that. Are we able to see?
No, ma'am. Ah, yes, ma'am. Now,
No?
1 second, ma'am. One
Okay.
second, ma'am.
Yeah, it's coming. So how do I reach this page? To reach this page, what I need to do is on the Google, I have to type Diksha. Diksha.gov.in is the name of the portal, is the ID of the portal. Once you reach the Diksha portal, then you can wait for Nipun Bharat mission to appear on your screen. It will appear on your screen automatically because it's one of the moving banners. You will receive banners of G20, you will receive the banners of Yoga Olympiad, you will also see banners of few other initiatives of NCERT and MOE, and then you will also see the banner of NIPUN Bharat Mission. So once you click on NIPUN Bharat Mission, this is the landing page of NIPUN Bharat Mission, which is appearing on your screen. Now let me scroll it a little down. So what does NIPUN stands for? NIPUN stands for National Initiative for Proficiency in Reading and Understanding. Reading with Understanding and Numeracy. That is why it's called NIPUN. And I hope you all are aware of NEP 2020. What does NEP 2020 recommends? NEP 2020 recommends overall change in our school education system. So the very first change is in the nomenclature. Now we have foundational stage, and foundational stage is from preschool till class 2. And NIPUN Bharat, this portal that I'm showing you, it contains NIPUN Bharat documents which you can explore. It contains some videos of the mission, and it also contains regional workshop resources. As Shalini ma'am was saying, lot of workshops, lot of brainstorming has been done and organized at various levels in the form of workshops by involving lot of stakeholders. So the outcome of these workshops in the form of resources are also available on the website. We'll just explore each of the links in a while. And this is what a little brief about foundational literacy and numeracy called NIPUN. The clientele is from 0 to 8 years. It is the most significant period of growth and development. And just like every program, NIPUN also has development goal. And these development goals has their dedicated content and resources. Say, for example, we have preschool 1, preschool 2, we have preschool 3, we have class 1, class 2, and also class 3 under the NIPUN. And what are the 3 developmental goals? The 3 developmental goals are: children will maintain good health and well-being, children become effective communicators, children become involved learners and connect with their immediate environment. In all the classes under NIPUN Bharat, these 3 developmental goals are the dominant. And not only this portal dedicated to NIPUN also provides courses for stakeholders. Stakeholders would be the teachers who would be engaged, the educational administrators, and everybody and anybody who is interested in learning more about NIPUN Bharat. And what all courses we have here? We have the courses modules called Introduction to FLN Mission, Foundational Language and Literacy, Foundational Numeracy, Learning Assessment, School Leadership, and Toy-Based Pedagogy. Now, let me show you very quickly the developmental goal-wise e-content. So if I'll click on Explore, I am taken to these developmental goals, and if I click on one of the goals, this is health and well-being, preschool 1, developmental goal 1. So these are the key components under these developmental goals: awareness of self, positive self-concept, self-regulation, decision-making, problem solving, pro-social behavior, development of healthy habits, hygiene, sanitation, awareness for self-protection, development of gross and motor skills, development of fine motor skills, eye-hand coordination, and participation in individual teams and team games and sports. Now, many of you must be thinking, इसमें नया क्या है? इसमें नया शायद कुछ नहीं है, but नया ये है कि ये गोल्स हम फाउंडेशनल स्टेज के बच्चों के लिए एम्बेड कर रहे हैं. फाउंडेशनल स्टेज के बच्चों के लिए हमने प्रिपेयर किया. अब आप सोचेंगे डिसीजन मेकिंग प्री स्कूल में, क्या डिसीजन मेकिंग हो सकती है प्री स्कूल में? थिंक अबाउट इट. how the teacher in the preschool can teach decision making or pro-social behavior, or maybe sanitation, awareness, and self-protection. How can the teacher teach? If you are thinking like this, then look at the right hand corner on your screen where we have lot of activities. Health and Well-being 1.1 begins to state some physical characteristics about self. So if I'll click on this, you'll get videos, you'll get infographics, and similarly, each of the subsections of the developmental goal has similar kind of resources. So somehow Diksha makes your task very easy. But is this all that is there to Nipun Bharat? Let's see what is this. Pattiyon se painting.
Ma'am, it's not showing to us. Only we are seeing the main page of that.
Sorry, you're
Ma'am,
still on the first page.
yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Like exploring
Okay.
developmental goals for e-content.
Okay, so what you can do is I'll stop sharing.
Okay.
You click on development goal 1 because maybe it's I'm trying to show you the live website demo.
Okay.
So maybe it may not work. I'll stop sharing screen from here. I can give you the instructions so you can follow that.
Surely, ma'am. Okay.
So type www.diksha.gov.in
Okay, ma'am.
/FLN.
एक मिनट में.
हाँ.
It's taking time. 1 second, ma'am. I will be back.
No worries, no worries. I know.
Okay.
I'm in a session. ले लीजिए.
I'll just keep myself back. Take this one, I'll use it. Thank you.
Yeah.
Ma'am.
Yes.
Ma'am, that is Diksha portal, ma'am.
No, it's diksha.gov.in
Okay, ma'am. gov.in
/FLN
/FLN
.html.
Okay, ma'am.
You will get it. Usually it works fine, but technology is technology. Yes, it will come. Not at all. Not this one.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay. No, I can't see. Just a second. Go to this Nipun.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Click
this
on this
one, the
Nipun
first
Bharat,
one.
the first one. Yes.
diksha.gov.in /FLN.html.
Yes, ma'am.
Let's click on this.
Yes, I on that only, ma'am. But the first link
Sir,
it was showing.
Sir, click on the first one.
No,
Yes,
it's
ma'am. That
coming
is.
this. Okay, don't worry. Don't worry. So then go back and
Yes, ma'am.
just remove html.fln. Remove this,
Yes,
remove slash. Just click
Yes,
on this. Click on this. Yes. Click on this.
Yes, ma'am.
This about Diksha you are able to get.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. No, it's Disha. No. Go back, please. Go back. It's
Sir, click
D
on
I,
Diksha.
yeah,
Okay,
it's
okay.
DIKSHA.
DIKSHA.
Huh. Diksha.gov.in. Now you'll be taken to the right portal. No, go up, go move up. Yeah, Diksha. The wait. The very first link, diksha.gov.in. No, not here. No, don't show me. Yeah, just click, just press enter there. The very first link. Yes, Diksha portal. Good.
Yes, ma'am.
Now wait for this moving banners to reach, or you can click on the third or fourth. The fourth one.
Yes,
Yes.
ma'am.
Explore.
Foundation.
There is an explore button there. Yes. No.
Sorry, ma'am. Sorry, ma'am. Sorry.
No worries. No worries. Now you'll
It's on.
reach. And
Yes, ma'am.
children
Like
will also
videos.
learn how to reach Nipun Bharat in case they need it.
Yes, ma'am.
Go
Surely.
back. Go back.
This is the one, ma'am.
No, the
Preschool one.
fourth bullet. The fourth dot. No.
Ma'am, this is.
No. Can you see the yes? This one, the fourth one. Huh.
This is the one, ma'am.
This is the one. Click on it.
NIPUN
Okay.
Foundation.
Ma'am.
No, by the time you click, it moves on. Go back just a minute. Acha, okay, leave it. Students, you can explore Diksha on your own. I just wanted to show you one dot back, one dot back. Now here, explore. Can you see the explore button?
Sorry, ma'am.
Yes.
Sorry. Ah, yes. Ma'am. Ma'am, just after clicking that, I am getting this page, ma'am.
Okay, so there might
Here
be
is the
some.
here is the preschool 1, preschool 2, preschool 3.
No, but I'm not. Acha, I'm not able to see that on my screen. Maybe the all other are able to see that.
Ma'am, yes, ma'am. But it's coming here, ma'am.
Sir, I have pasted the link in the chat box. If you can
Ma'am,
see it.
yes, ma'am. Just it is opening in my system, ma'am. Just I'm seeing
Okay,
that
but
explore
it
like.
will be taking
Okay,
lot
okay.
of time to
Yes,
buffer
ma'am.
or to
Like
Yes,
like
yes.
here
respond
it's
to.
showing like
Maybe,
exploring
sir, due to the
developmental growth.
network. Yes, sir.
It might be due to the network. Don't worry, you can stop
Yes,
sharing.
yes.
You
Okay,
can
ma'am.
stop
Just
No
sharing.
problem.
Don't worry. So, students here, till now, Nipun is basically revolving around three developmental goals, and the very first developmental goal was related to health and well-being, and the next developmental goal is related to children become effective communicator, right? So first is health and well-being, second is effective communicator, and the third is children become involved learners and connect with their immediate learning environment. Now, as Shalini ma'am has said, I will be throwing little light on inclusion and children with special needs. So who are children with special needs? Now here, I would like to know how many of you are aware about the number of disability conditions we recognize in RPWD at 2016. You can show me the number with your fingers, just like you raised hands. Yes, I can lip read very easily. You said 21.
Pragya,
Great.
please unmute yourself and speak. You can unmute yourself from there.
Total number of disabilities 21.
Great, great. So it's the number of disabilities 21, and before ma'am instructed you to unmute, we were able to lip read. So that was live example of lip reading also. And lip reading helps us in understanding the communication when the person is not able to speak. And that situation nowadays we are finding more and more in our classrooms. Why? Because government's pro disability policies, NEP 2020 also recommends that inclusive education goes beyond disability conditions. So, NEP 2020, the very significant recommendation with respect to inclusive education at all levels of education, starting from foundation to higher education, that is, from nursery to tertiary. So, as just now Jyoti has said, that we have 21 disability conditions under RPWD Act 2016. These disability conditions include hearing impairment, visual impairment, autism, mental challenges, mental illness, and many other conditions. If I'll ask you to write down these disability conditions, I'm sure we'll not be able to reach more than 15. 15 may be the highest number that you and I will be able to recall jointly. Apart from disabilities, inclusive education, as recommended in NEP 2020, also takes into its umbrella the children who are coming from different socio cultural backgrounds, children who have different regional diversities, regional disparities. The third identity, first is disability, second is socio-cultural, third is regional, fourth is gender dimension, and fifth dimension is economic conditions. So NEP says inclusive education and equitable education is not to be limited only to disability condition. It has to go beyond disability condition and needs to be implemented at all levels of schooling. So when we say all levels of schooling, it starts from foundational stage. So when it starts from foundational stage, it involves NIPUN. It has concerns for NIPUN Bharat classes, NIPUN Bharat's developmental goals, NIPUN Bharat's whatever activities you do in preschool 1, 2, you do class 1, 2, and 3 as well. So, if as a teacher I'm asking the child to tell me more about himself, herself, or the family members, how do I engage a child who is not able to speak at all? Or how do I engage a child who is not able to hear? That if I'm able to do that, that will make my classrooms more inclusive. Not more, that will make my classroom inclusive in the real sense of the term. So how do I engage a child who is not able to speak anything to me? The live example we have just seen, through sign language, through lip reading, through lot of cued speech. And usually the problem faced by children with hearing impairment is related to vocabulary. And foundational stage is the stage, right stage, when we teach our children how to build their vocabulary. We teach them new words. So, for example, if I am teaching children good morning, the first thing that we do when we go to school, we wish our teachers good morning. So, how do I do this? When I have a deaf child in my class, the child won't be able to listen to me, but the child would be able to read my lips. And for lip reading, what do? I need to speak slowly, a little slowly, with well framed letters and words. And you know, the sign of good morning is this: flower blooming up. So, this is good morning, right? So if in the foundational stage, if you are saying the word, you are showing the written word with the help of a flashcard, and you are signing for it as well. So what are you doing? You are doing multi-sensory teaching. And when you are doing multi-sensory teaching, you are moving towards following the principles of universal design of learning. And universal design of learning, what it says, the three principles: multiple modes of engagement, multiple modes of representation, and multiple modes of um, representation, engagement, and assessment. So all these things needs to be there when we are doing these multi-sensory teaching. So here, if I am doing good morning with a flashcard with audio and with sign as well. So I'm trying to engage all the senses. This is the need of the hour for inclusive classrooms. Now, if I'm speaking, the child who is not able to see will be able to participate in the classroom discussion, and the child who is not able to hear, he'll be able to participate through vision, through seeing the sign. And the best part is all the children in the classroom will be able to learn the sign of good morning, right? Just give me a second. So so coming back to the inclusive classroom, where we have a child with deafness and a child maybe with vision impairment, that is blindness. So what do? I need to speak, I need to do sign, and I need to show them in print format as well, right? Classroom inclusive, now you will say that this is so easy to do in the foundational stage. Yes, it is easy depending on the teacher's sensitivity. Now, if all of you are trying to read and learn through print, GOOD, good, MORNING, morning, what will a child with blindness do? For him or her, printed G doesn't have any meaning. It's just like a design to him or her. So just like we teach our children who are able to see the slanting lines, the standing lines, the sleeping lines, we have to teach children who are blind to touch and feel. This is called tactile mode of learning. And how do I do that? If I'm teaching in the classroom about standing lines, which are vertical lines, I just need to make them raised. And how do I raise the lines? Maybe by sticking a thread, or maybe by sticking a stick, or maybe anything that can be felt on the paper. That's the only modification I need for engaging children with blindness in my classes, depending on the topic that I'm teaching. Now, at the FLN stage, at the NIPUN stage, till class 3, you and I feel that it's very easy to engage children. True, could be. Remember the story I just narrated, Animal School? If I am narrating this story to a blind person, do you think the child will be able to relate to the story? And if you are saying yes, the child will be able to relate to the story, think again. Try to find out the point of difficulty where the child, a blind child, especially face difficulty in connecting to the Animal School story. Jyoti ji is saying draw, okay? You can unmute yourself if you want to speak. Let me see.
Students in the class can unmute yourself and can answer for the question.
देखो वन साइडेड क्लासरूम में ना मुझे तो मजा आता नहीं है, बिकॉज मेरे को बहुत रेयरली मिलता है चांस स्टूडेंट से, टीचर से बात करने का.
Ma'am, actually, if the child is blind, he is not able to relate. Like if we are saying the rabbit is good in hopping and duck is good in swimming, so we need to explain them in words, because he have never seen them, because the problem in vision.
Yes.
So we need to verbally explain them that.
Very true. Very true. So the first point of difficulty would be connecting to the animals. So how can I make them connect to the animal? I have now two options in front of me. The very first thing is, if I can get hold of a live rabbit, if I can get hold of the live duck, or all the other animals that appear in the story. That's the first thing, the ideal situation. The second option would be, let me record their sounds and let me play it back, so that not only the blind child, all children in the classroom will understand how the duck speak. What is the sound of duck? What is the sound of rabbit? How many of us have had the chance to actually pat a rabbit or a duck? May not be. So that makes the first option not so easily available. So the second option seems quite viable, that I add sound of animals, all the animals that are appearing in my story and the worksheets and whatever modality I choose to engage children with little children at foundational stage, including children with disabilities. So audio gives me a better option, first thing. Now, if I'm using audio, I have to supplement it with picture along with the name of the animal. Why? So that it aid the child with deafness also. So both the needs are met here. So this is first difficulty that I feel a child may have while connecting to the story. Second would be regarding the actions, the jumping, the swimming, all these kind of actions with which the children may not be familiar. So again, we may show them a video, and for a blind child, you have to make the activities supported with verbal description, and if possible, let the child touch and feel the water in the swimming pool if easily available nearby, with all precautions that the child should not be left alone. Very few tips, but they are very helpful, right? One thing is this. Now, another thing is, you may say that at foundational stage this seems quite okay, that we will be able to do these are doable things. But what happens when the child reaches preparatory stage after foundational stage, or the child reaches elementary stage, or the child reaches secondary stage? Because once a child with disability is with us in the formal system of schooling at the NIPUN stage, the child needs to go on to the higher classes as well. So at the higher classes, the abstraction in curriculum will come, the subject areas will become more abstract and complicated. At that level, how do I make this child, this blind child, understand the motions of a pendulum? Or how do I make this child understand the acid base test? Or how do I make this child understand the plant leaves or the cell leaves? Or how do I make this child understand the poetry, or maybe the abstract concepts in mathematics? Valid questions. And the answers, as of now, I am also still struggling to find. Because right now, I might be an expert in one of the curricular areas, say language or physics, or maybe science, or maybe social studies. But how do I make the curriculum accessible to children with all the disabilities and with all the special needs who are sitting in my inclusive classrooms? How do I ensure their participation at equal basis? This is an ongoing search. This is an ongoing experimentation. This is an ongoing quest. And answers are coming slowly. Why I'm saying answers are coming slowly? Because NCERT, CIET especially is running a series, has taken an initiative to find out answer to this question, and the series that we are running is Teaching Learning Interventions for Inclusive Classrooms. It has more than 550 episodes, each of half an hour episode. Each half an hour episode is broadcast live on all direct to home DTH TV channels for classrooms 1 to 12, and the show timings are from 12 to 12:30. The live episodes are available on NCERT official YouTube channel, and in the archive, all the past episodes are there. I'm not saying this series is the answer to the question that I just raised, but it's a humble attempt to find answer, because I am always on the lookout for good expert. And in this, through this series, an attempt has been made to sensitize the expert towards the special needs so that we prepare teachers for the future inclusive classrooms. And if you will look around, if you talk to your friends who are in different universities, and maybe in your own university, in your own classes, you may have some children with special needs who might be belonging to different socio-cultural backgrounds, who may come from different regions, or who may have some disabilities or some special need, maybe related to language. So classrooms are becoming more and more inclusive. And after NEP 2020, I'm seeing a surge. I'm seeing an increase in the number of inclusive classrooms. Yes, despite COVID. Lot of sensitivity is apparent at the field level. Now, in the field, the school teachers and principals are not asking us what are special needs. Rather, they are asking what are the ways and strategies and methods to make their schools inclusive, to make their classrooms inclusive. And while making an attempt, whether it is in the context of NIPUN Bharat or whether it is in the context of higher classes, we have to take into account the local context, the classroom needs, the curriculum that is to be taught, the learning teaching resources that is available. Do I need to customize the learning teaching resources? Is the map that is available, is it available with tactile markings? That is it available in the format that can be touched, where the boundaries of states can be touched? Is the chart that is available, chart of animals, birds, does it have supporting sounds, maybe embedded QR codes or something? Technology comes handy, very handy there. So with this, let me stop here and let me invite your queries and questions or your observations in general.
Thank you, ma'am. Students of classroom can ask your questions by unmuting yourself.
Anyone? You can share your observations as well. There is no compulsion to ask questions only. You can share your observations, you can share your opinions also.
Yes, you can unmute yourself.
Good morning, ma'am. Ma'am, I have one question.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am. As uh, these are B.Ed students, and usually they are trained to teach the secondary level students. Means, is there any training program available so that like these students and us get training in regards of FLN, foundation literacy and numeracy? Means how we can develop, what are the activities we can organize? So, is there any training program available for that?
Yes, the training program is available Kindly explore Diksha FLN page. There you will get all the details about the training programs. The trainings may not be available for pre-service teachers like yourself, but there might be some access to the modules, and lot of material is available on Diksha portal. Each material associated with each of the developmental goals and each of the 6 stages of FLN, including preschool 1, preschool 2, Balvatika class 1, 2, and 3. So the content is organized as per the developmental goals. So we have 3 developmental goals related to health and well-being, involved learners, and good communicators. So the activities in all the classes are revolving around that, and all the activities, worksheets, and everything, whatever videos are available on Diksha free of cost. You can just visit the Diksha portal and explore FLN vertical there. You will get lot of information about Nipun Bharat from there.
Got
Ma'am,
it,
can I
ma'am.
share that? Can I share
Yes,
that page, ma'am?
Yes,
What
you
is it?
can share the page.
Yes, ma'am. 1 second.
ma'am. Is there any physical training is also there? Means we can explore the Diksha platform, but I'm talking about the real face-to-face training.
Real face-to-face training may not be available right now because, and after COVID, NCERT has also learned how to reach the person sitting in the remote corner. So instead of organizing training for 50 or 100 or 150 participants, now we are thinking in terms of thousands and lakhs
Yes,
through online and blended mode.
got it, ma'am.
Yes. So now the page is visible. And I can see lot of material there on the page. And we keep
Yes.
on adding material on daily basis. Yes, you'll have to register
Okay,
on
ma'am. Okay.
Diksha. This is the essential nuances I can say that
Okay.
we need to follow. And just like in the story, our story, if we would have exempted duck from running, the duck would have had a comfortable schooling, a joyful schooling, which NEP 2020 is also talking about. Or if we would have simply allowed squirrel to go from treetop down in the flying classes, instead of insisting, no, you have to start from the ground and reach the treetop. We just have to make minor modifications and accommodations in our pedagogy practices. Okay, now, sir, since you are here on this page,
Yes,
go
ma'am.
to the board. You can, on the left hand side, you can see board. Select CBSE NCERT.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, then we have medium, select English. Then we
Yes,
have
ma'am. Classes.
class, select class 1.
Yes, ma'am.
And then this is
Subject.
subject. Select any subject, class 1.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, then what is the last one?
Published user
Publisher
type, like.
NCERT. Okay.
1 second, ma'am. 1 second.
I just want to show you the sign language videos prepared by NCERT.
Okay, ma'am.
So select any, see, I'm not able to, wait a minute. Yes. So in the subject, okay, English,
Yes, ma'am.
content type, digital textbook.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, now select marigold. Okay, now on the left hand side, you can see the content list, right?
Right. Yes,
Where
ma'am.
we have
Happy child.
happy child. Huh.
Happy.
Go
Right.
down, go down, more, more, more. Keep going. Keep going down. Yes. Keeps going down. I'm looking for a blue hand. Yes. Here just little up, little up. Yes. See, sign
Sign
language
language.
videos. Yeah.
Yes,
Click
ma'am.
on this and move up. You have to click on, yes, the video is coming.
Yes.
This is just maybe due to network that it is taking time to
Yes, yes,
think.
ma'am. Sure. Correct.
This video is a classic example of universal design of learning-based learning resources that CIT is experimenting with. So meanwhile, students can give their opinion. Okay, let me ask you one question. Have you taken some classes in the school? The students, have you experienced some student teaching?
Yes, ma'am. Like they are first year students, ma'am. So
Huh.
they went for the PSC, Primary School Engagement Program. Next semester they're going for the internship program.
Okay, so they have done that,
Yes,
right?
ma'am.
So
It's
has
taking.
anyone experienced a child with disability? No, it's not coming. It's a network issue.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Has any child experienced any children with disability or multilinguality in their classroom? No?
One second, ma'am. They just went out of the stream. They will be
Classroom?
back, ma'am. Yes. No, no, ma'am. Just in the stream. They will be back, ma'am.
Okay, okay, they'll join back. So I can see Juhi, I can see Swati Pandey.
The thing is, in this team, only 6% can be allowed, ma'am. Rest of them are out of the. They are in
Okay.
backstage, ma'am. That's
They
why.
have to join as a
Wait.
group, right?
Yes, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Fine. So now, since there are no more questions, so shall we end the session here?
One second, ma'am. Just I will ask. Students, you have any, ma'am, or faculty members can ask your questions if you have any. Yes, ma'am. We can end the section.
Okay. Thank you, everyone. I don't know about you, but I enjoyed the session.
Surely, ma'am.
Thank
We also, ma'am. We also, ma'am. Once again, ma'am.
Thank you for this informative session, ma'am. Now I would like to call Dr. Jyoti Tiwari, Assistant Professor AIE, for the vote of thanks.
Unmute, Jyoti ma'am, please unmute yourself. You are on mute. No, no.
Ma'am, we cannot hear you, Jyoti ma'am.
You may please join.
Now I'm audible, ma'am.
Yes,
Right.
Yes,
thank you. Thank you, Anjali. Thank you is such a prayer that cannot be seen and touched. It must be felt by heart. I feel honored and privileged to get an opportunity to propose vote of thanks on this occasion. On behalf of IQAC, Army Institute of Education, Greater Noida, I want to convey my sincere thanks and deep regards to Dr. Bharti Kaushik, Associate Professor, CIET, NCERT, Delhi, and Dr. Shalini Yadav, Ma'am, Associate Professor, University School of Education, Guru Gobind Singh Indraprasth University, Delhi, for devoting your valuable time for our students. Ma'am, you both have explained the basics of NIPUN Bharat mission, like its meaning, objectives, goals, process, stakeholders, and assessment process in very easy to understand language. And I hope your deliberation on the topic made our students more competent about the NIPUN Bharat mission. Thank you so much, ma'am, once again for your valuable time, and looking forward your physical session at our institute. Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Now the session is over.
Thank you, Anjali.